Truck update at 8 a.m. PST, August 8th. Tropical Depression 11 is still a depression. I think it's probably a little bit stronger, but the NAC went with 30 knots for this advisory based on the SCAT monitor. A little bit organized with a central area of convection. It's moving north of due west or 280 by 13. And what most is expected to continue through tonight due to easterly flow in the sideways strong subtropical weird situation to the north of the cyclone. As that the gold model forecast a slight weakness to develop within the ridge, allowing the cyclone to turn west-northwestward with that motion continue through the end of forecast period. The new NAC forecast is just to the left of the various consistent models. Southeasterly shear that has so far prevented notification to diminish in the next 12 hours or so, which should allow the cyclone to clear tropical storm. The system then should remain in light to moderate shear through about 48 hours, and the intensity forecast calls for a peak of 50 knots during that time. I agree. I think everything will follow this. This is in line with all the models. The end of forecast period model too strong southwesterly shear should develop over the cyclone to an upper level trough to weaken. And so the overall forecast to degenerate to a top wave through 100 before 120 hours. So they pretty much take it down to borderline tropical storm by late in the forecast period. Let's look at some models. I think it would be better to look at satellite first. And we'll look at that later. And clearly, you have a lot of defined LC. You have some banding starting to form. It could be argued that it's probably a borderline tropical storm based on the banding. This flow here, but without any real data, we can't say for sure that it is yet. So I don't disagree with the NAC. Let's look at some models, as we were going to do. And clearly, they all show a west-to-west-west motion north of the Leeward Islands within the next 120 hours, next 3 to 5 days. Then it moves into a trough and recurves. The GFS neighborhoods also show this clearly. I mean, this is what we're going to get this season. Most of these systems are developing the MDR Gardowy curve. I mean, clearly the trough, and although that has set up over this season, all the subtropical systems that have developed on it indicated that. So that's what we're going to have through the CFC. There's the intensity model showing about 50 knots in the beams. So that's why I agree with the NAC. Let's look at the rest of the link. And clearly here's our system. Here's a system off Africa, which I'll label 10%, but it doesn't have much model support after about 3600 for the SAL. We'll look at the GFS. Here's now 24 hours, 48 hours. Clearly, it makes the system dedicated for its fall apart. This system is moving west-northwest. $72 hours, 96 hours, 120 hours. Clearly, this is moving into shear, weakening. And here's the trough. I mean, the first wave, the second wave, this should curve it out to sea. Next, we're going to look at what's less of a blend, which is weakening under over 23 to 24 Celsius waters. They went with 55 knots. It should break into a ball and tropical storm in the next 12 to 24 hours. And by 36 hours, becoming a remnant alone. take a look at a satellite picture. Clearly, I think it's going to be moving fast. Let's be honest. It's moving northwestward. Convection is gone. It's over very cold water. Here's the track. Models. Clearly very, very fast weekend. Let's look at what's left of the Eastern Pacific, which is quite active. We got a system 1,300 miles southwest of the southern tip of Baja California. It's becoming better organized. It has a 70 to the next 40 hours, 90 to the next 5 days. It's clear this thing's becoming much better organized. It's right here. You can definitely see it's on its way. It'll be the depression in the next 24 to 36 hours. And probably a couple of storms. It's 92 east, so let's look at its models. It's right here. Most models take it to the west or west-northwest over the next 5 days. But the sensitive models are not really strong on it. The system closer to the coast is also becoming better organized. It's going to move west-northwest to northwest. It has 69. Let's take a look at it. It's right here. But it doesn't look too good. We'll see if we get a depression or even a weak tropical storm out of this one. We'll go look at the GFS. Here's 0 hours. 24 hours, you got an ice close on this system. You got a clearly defined tropical storm by this time on the GFS. Probably 45 to 50 knots farther, 92, 93 will probably be a depression at this point. It will be more like a storm. 93, the future 93 is definitely a tropical storm at 72 hours, but it's about ready to move into cold water. So it probably has less time in Atlanta than it had, and so 45 to 50 knots is probably about as strong as this gets. Well, this has much warmer water, but the hurricane models really don't want to strike it there. Probably because of shear. So probably about 50 to 50 knots is probably pretty possible for 93. But it's definitely taking off the same track as a little about faster into colder water. Hurricane models really weaken this system. 92. Probably because of shear. We got another system that looks like it's developed past 60%, which, based on the model, is right here at 120 hours. Go back to 96. Clearly developed at 96. 120. 144. This thing looked like a mock to be stone walls. Had a lot of time, cold, hot water, low shear. This could be a very powerful hurricane in about 5 to 7 day time period. Let's look at the Eastern WF. It also shows it. Here's another system we try to develop on the Eastern WF. At 48 hours, you got 93, 92. Jump this 972. Clearly, in my opinion, they also have very defined other systems could develop near our rest of the Central Pacific. I mean, but they give it 30%. So we'll have to watch that too. It's probably another piece of energy, maybe this system. But we'll have to see. in my opinion, I give this probably 60% chance of development. But if it does, it probably peaks out on 45 to 50 knobs because it shouldn't have a hell of a lot of time. This system probably has about 80 or 90%. This is definitely on its way to depression status. But the conditions probably won't be that favorable long term, so we'll have to see. A system down here pops out about 45 days from now, and I'd say probably 50%, but if it does, it has a lot of time, so we'll have to see. That's your Trump update.